Now to new developments in the investigation into the Alaska Airlines plane after part of it fell off mid-flight. And now both Alaska and United Airlines report finding loose parts on some of their Boeing 737 MAX 9 planes. The chair of the NTSB joins us live in just a moment, but first our transportation correspondent Gio Benitez is in Portland, Oregon. Good morning, Gio.
Hey, Robin, good morning. Yeah, the NTSB now knows that the top fitting of the door plug was actually fractured, so the door moved up and then out. So the big question right now is, were the bolts to hold it there ever installed, or did they break? And of course, there's that new concern. What about the other planes with loose bolts? This morning, the growing fallout from that Alaska Airlines flight losing its door plug midair. The company saying it found some loose hardware during its initial inspection of its 737 MAX 9 fleet, while United Airlines, which has 79 MAX 9s, said it found loose bolts on some of its door plugs, which are used to cover and seal optional emergency exits. The airline won't say how many planes are affected, but that they appear to relate to installation issues in the door plug and need additional tightening.
The fact that loose bolts have been found in other similar aircraft indicates that possibly this is an endemic problem that was created in manufacturing.
This after that missing door plug from Alaska's MAX 9 was finally found. The NTSB searching for 4 bolts that should have stopped the door plug from flying off the plane at 16,000 feet.
What everybody was looking for in Portland was actually in my backyard, and I was the first one to actually see it.
Landing in the backyard of Portland teacher Bob Sauer.
A friend of mine called me and said, you should probably check your backyard. Once I'd finished my work for the day, I came out to look for it, and that's when I found it. Well, my heart started beating a little faster, so yeah, I guess I was excited. I went back in the house, and I first called the NTSB. We were very careful not to touch anything during that time, because I figured the NTSB would want to see it in the condition it had fallen in.
The images of the door plug and the plane triggering new questions.
There is more than likely a problem here with the latching mechanism or with the way it was installed.
Attention now turning to the company that manufactured the fuselage of Boeing's 737 MAX 9, Spirit Aerosystems. Issues with its fuselages led to delays of Boeing MAX planes last year. The company saying in a statement, Spirit is a committed partner with Boeing on the 737 program, and we continue to work together with them on this matter. Kelly Bartlett describing the chaos when that door plug flew off the Alaska plane.
Somebody had jumped over me to sit down in that empty seat, and I just thought, where did you come from? Like, why are you? I didn't know what was going on.
The plug leaving a gaping hole in the 26th row. The 2 seats closest to it just happened to be empty. But the 3rd seat on the aisle occupied by a teen whose shirt flew off. Bartlett says he ran up to her row after the incident.
The kid who was sitting in that row, like, his seatbelt had saved his life, because that's why he didn't have a shirt on, was the suction had just torn it off.
Hundreds of flights now canceled this week as those MAX 9s are inspected. There are more than 170 around the world. And a key question right now, were those planes delivered to the airlines with loose bolts, or did those bolts become loose over time? It turns out the airlines would have only found this during heavy maintenance every 2 to 3 years. George.
Oh my, okay, Gio, thanks very much. Let's talk about this with the chair of the National Transportation Safety Board, Jennifer Hamady. Ms. Hamady, thank you for joining us this morning. A lot of nervous flyers out there. Is the Boeing MAX plane safe?
Well, right now we are focused on this particular aircraft so we can determine what happened, why it happened, and to prevent it from happening again. However, at some point we may need to go broader, but right now we have to figure out how this occurred with this aircraft.
What more do you know? I guess your investigators aren't even sure that there were bolts on the door?
Well, right now what we do know through examination is that the fittings on the top of the plug fractured, allowing the plug door to move upward and outward.
So, but why were they loose? Do you know anything more about why they were loose?
Well, in this situation, the fittings at the top of the door plug fractured. We don't know if the bolts were loose. We don't know if bolts were in there fractured, or possibly the bolts weren't there at all.
How much do we know about the
We have to determine that back in our laboratory.
Right, okay. How much do we know about the broader situation? We do know that United has reported these loose bolts as well.
That's right. We have heard reports from United, Alaska, and Boeing about loose bolts. We are aware of those. Those are being reported to the Federal Aviation Administration, who's in charge of the inspections and the mandates for the repair. Right now, though, our focus is on this aircraft.
So we don't know yet, as Gio was raised in his tag right there, whether these planes were delivered with loose bolts or whether that developed over time?
That's right. We don't know that. That will be part of the investigation.
Are we at the point now where you're going to order that all of these planes are inspected for loose bolts?
That is within the purview of the regulator, which in this case is the Federal Aviation Administration. The NTSB's entire mission is to investigate and issue safety recommendations, sometimes urgent safety recommendations. In this case, it's FAA that is responsible for any grounding of the fleet, not the NTSB.
Would you feel safe flying on a Boeing MAX plane right now?
I would feel safe flying. Right now, our aviation system is the safest in the world. We are the global standard for global gold standard for safety. But when these events occur, significant events occur, we have to figure out what happened here. And so because we want to prevent it from happening again.
So you'd feel safe even on a Boeing MAX plane now?
Absolutely. I feel safe flying. Your biggest danger every day during your commute or travel to the airport is getting in your vehicle. 43,000 people are dying on our nation's roads annually. Millions more are injured. That is the riskiest part of your commute.
Ms. Hamady, thanks very much for your time this morning.
Thank you for having me.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.